young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill. My Virgio home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing goes shiny in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill. My Virgio home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill. With her fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill. My Virgio home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Virgio home 'neath the maiden hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include 2 new councilors were elected on Tuesday, math frolics at St. John Central High, a marker buoy washed ashore on the Barsway Beach. This past week was cleanup week around town. These stories and more coming up after these important words from the theater arts class about drinking and driving. Please stay tuned.
Good beer.
There you go, buddy.
Thanks a lot, man. Keys.
Don't think so. Get the message. Use the cord.
The Burgeo Town Council now has 2 new members thanks to Tuesday's by-election. 500 residents got out on Tuesday to cast their ballot for the municipal by-election. Each voter had to vote for 2 of the 5 candidates. After the polls closed and the votes were tallied, Ernest Green with 316 votes and Robert Sims with 305 votes were declared the winners. Congratulations to you both. Green and Sims will join the 5 members already on council at the next council meeting. This past week was declared cleanup week around town. Residents were encouraged to get out and clean up around their property. This week was the first of 2 weeks set aside by the Burgeo Town Council as cleanup weeks. The next cleanup period is scheduled for June 24th through 29th. Town workers have been busy trucking away debris that has been placed by the roadside for collection. There has not been a cleanup organized around the town streets during the past week, but Garbage bags are available at the town office anytime for any group or organization that would like to pick up litter around town. Council can also make arrangements to pick up the garbage that you collect. Also, if you have a large item that cannot be taken during regular garbage collection, you can call the town office to arrange to have it trucked away. Remember, it's everyone's responsibility to keep Burgeo clean. As summer draws nearer, plans are being finalized for this year's Sand and Sea Festival. The posters are up and the agenda is nearing completion for the festival, which is scheduled for April 1st through 4th. The festival will include live entertainment at Sandbanks Park, dances, games, mussel boils, and a whole lot more. Fun for the old family. More details for this year's festival will be announced in coming weeks.
I'd be glad to explain it if it's too hard to comprehend. What part of no don't you understand?
Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review after this.
How you doing, man? Want beer? Yeah, I want beer. There you go. Thanks. I'm okay, Joey. See you later. Don't be a memory.
Get the message. Use the quarter.
A marker buoy that washed ashore on the beach in the Big Barsway area was removed earlier this week by the Coast Guard. The marker buoy that is normally located at Grail Rock washed ashore on the beach in the Big in February. Coast Guard vessel J.E. Bernier was in the Barsway area last Sunday to remove the buoy from the beach and return it to its proper location.
Albert?
Yes, sir.
It looks like she's rolling, like a top, but I think we got to get the leg point towards us more than just perpendicular, and then roll it again.
Well, she's still coming slightly there.
She rolls now.
Yeah, I don't want to press the line though on a bad lead.
You want to change around again?
Yeah, we're not rolling it here. From my angle, you might tell me different, but it looks like we're trying to pull her up the beach.
Yeah, it swung around more on the current.
You just swing the leg right towards us.
Okay, just on the leg itself.
Yeah.
This is the second attempt to remove the buoy, which weighs between 5 and 9 tons.
You roll now, you're spinning around.
Tell him to stop, we'll move his leg around.
No, let him go on.
Hey! I don't see the ball. It's going towards the ship. Look,
We would like to thank Llewellyn Billard for the footage of the buoy and its removal. Students at St. John's Central High are learning math in a new way, math frolics. We visited Mr. Benoit's grade 9 class on Wednesday to see how math frolics are carried out.
Okay? You got, each team is going to have a thing called a passport. Our game today, you got a board. The game board is called Math Cruise. If you go on a cruise somewhere, here's the board. Okay, now your directions, so listen carefully. Here's how the game is going to go. Everybody all ears now. If you go on a cruise anywhere, you visit different places. In this particular game, you're going to be visiting 4 different places, and they're represented by 4 different sets of cards. I'll ask the checkers now if they would put them out in order, the 4 different cards. There's red ones, and the red ones would be Ray Bay. They correspond to Ray Bay, right there. Okay. Next is the, which one's next to that? The red, and then we've got, there's another lot there called Verdicts Valley. Those are yellow ones. Verdicts Valley are all yellow. The linear land over here are all orange. They're there to do, what do you think linear land? Linear, which branch of mathematics do you think that got to do with? Linear. Anybody got any idea? No. Linear means measurement, so we're dealing with geometry actually there. And over here, the last one, Blork Bog. Actually, Blork Bog exists on, I don't know if you're on Earth, actually it's on the planet Blork, some of this happens. So, there's 4 different sets of problems anyway. Now, here's how it's going to go. I'm going to put the game board right there. We're going to sit up with 2 levels of difficulty here because different people have different abilities in their, I guess ability to solve problems. Some people can do harder ones than others.
Mr. Benoit, where did this idea of problem solving come from? Where did the idea originate?
Well, Dave, problem solving has always been part of the mathematics curriculum. Years ago, I think problem solving was done only the exercises as you'd learn a particular skill. There were so many problems associated with it, and that's what used to get done. And we found that, you know, students had a lot of difficulties with problem solving. So there was a recognition, I think, at department level a few years back that maybe we should take those problems, you know, out and sort of isolate time where, you know, we can sort of dedicate to the problem solving itself. I think what happened in a lot of cases is there was so much time being spent on teaching basic skills that very often, you know, the problems part of it didn't get done, especially since the students found it hard and, you know, we were trying to cover the curriculum. So then the government came out with guidelines where, you know, there's a certain amount of time set aside that have to be dedicated to problem solving in the school curriculum, and it amounts to about 1 hour every 7 days. Say we're on a 7-day cycle, so 1 hour every 7 days is dedicated to problem solving. Actually, it comes out to about 13% of the entire math curriculum is dedicated to that. So problem solving, I'd have to say, has always been there. Now, if you're looking at the concept that we're looking at now, those games and the way it's being done, 2 or 3 years ago, 3 years ago probably, our board hired a person. I think they hired it, not to the best of my knowledge, to sort of a specialist in this area, a math specialist, to look into trying to find ways of, you know, probably better approaches to problem solving. That person, along with Lloyd Walters, our program coordinator for math, have worked then over the last 3 years, and they've come up with the games concept. They've put a lot of time into that. And they've developed, I think, from talking to Mr. Walters a few days ago, they developed now quite a few games. I believe their objective is to develop perhaps 28 games, one different game perhaps for every problem-solving session that a student might have throughout the year. And that's their goal, so that all problem-solving would be done in the games concept. About 3 weeks ago or so, Mr. Walters sent out to us 2 big binders with for the grade 7s with a total of 10 different games, and there's boards, nice colorful boards comes with this. So they sent out the materials for grade 7, and they sent out a bunch of problem cards with it. Since we've received that, I've put in, you know, considerable time developing problems of our own, because, you know, we could see sort of right away that students in our classrooms vary greatly in their ability. So I thought maybe being a special services teacher would be nice if you could sort of take this one set or one group of cards for a game and, you know, develop a couple of different levels, so that you'd have, you know, in the same class you could have some cards for the better problem solvers, and you could have more appropriate ones of a little easier nature for the weaker students in problem solving, coming from the idea that you take them from where they are and try and build from there. So I've put in a lot of time modifying, I suppose, that's making more cards, modifying those problems themselves that was sent out, you know, through board office, through Mr. Walters, and I think a guy by the name of Gunther that they have in there working at it. So this is right through our system, this problem solving. And the games thing, the first 2 or 3 years, we didn't have it there because they were sort of developing and pioneering, piloting this stuff in the schools in Corner Brook. And now that they've got it down, you know, to appropriate, pretty well appropriate format, they've dispersed it to the schools. So basically that's where this stuff comes from. It's, I think, an effort by board office to try and strengthen an area of traditional weakness that we've had in problem solving, and to motivate the kids to work at it a lot better.
So how long have you actually been using this type of problem solving in the classroom?
Well, Mr. Reed has used this problem solving technique since September with his grade 9 math class, and I've been using it for, well, the session that you were with the other day. That was our 3rd game we've played. So this is the 3rd time that the students have sort of participated in the game format of problem solving. So for me, it's the 3rd time only.
So is it just the grade 9s or all grades?
No, we had grade 9 materials first, and just before Easter there, when the grade 7 materials came through, for us, I was working with Mr. Fudge in grade 7. We both do the problem solving, and I sort of assume greatest responsibility for that particular aspect of the curriculum. So as soon as we got this grade 7 materials and I looked through it all, I had been, put a great deal of work into problem solving from the beginning, but we used to do up sheets, and we'd have students work on sheets and teams and groupings and things like that. And you could see immediately that, this seemed to be, very motivational. It's colorful, and it puts it in a game format. So in my opinion, it seemed to be a really great thing, and I'd have to say that Mr. Reed had used it since September, so sort of, he had been telling me about it, and he seemed pretty enthused about it too. So when I got it, I was working with Mr. Fudge in grade 7 and with Mr. Coster in grade 8, as well as my own problem-solving group in grade 9. So immediately I set to work sort of saying, well, this is too good to pass up for our grade 8s as well. It's my understanding that they didn't quite have the grade 8s ready, but I thought it was, it seemed to be so motivational that I said, well, we can do up our own cards and just make them an appropriate level for grade 8, and that's what I've been doing since we've been into this.
So have you found it more productive?
Extremely so. I'd have to say extremely so. It's, I've been more than surprised with, the way kids take to those types of cards. I'm not quite sure yet if, since it's only the third time, if there's a novelty effect coming in here. But I think what it is the competitive effect, one, and I think two, I think is the fact that we have modified the cards. That is, we use 2 sets so that the cards are tailored to fit the students. What that does is allows all the students in the same class to sort of, be able to get the same kind of satisfaction, be able to do the problems, to attempt them and come up with solutions. And with each problem set, there's answers there, and they go to the checker, so they get immediate feedback. And I think that's highly motivational. When a student finds out that he's done something right, he's willing to, he or she is willing to work and, try the next one. And it seems like that's the way it goes, So if they get stuck, the teacher's circulating and you can keep them moving. So I'd have to say yes, very, very motivational. It's been extremely motivational to the weakest of the problem solvers, who in the past would probably sit, with, you'd have your weaker students and stronger students, and what they would do is sit, and essentially what they would do is watch the others solve problems, and in my opinion get very little, if anything, from it, to the point where very quickly they'd be sort of off task and just not part of it. But now with the modifications and, so it meets their own level, I find, they've really gotten into it. In fact, in the last game we did last day, the overall winner in the class, was a team of our weaker students. Winner in the sense that they had solved more problems than anyone else, which tells me, they worked as hard as anybody did at it, and perhaps harder than most, to be able to achieve that. So it's great in that sense. It can give a feeling of satisfaction to those students who are weaker, and I think it's highly motivational to your bitter problem solvers, because it's one area in the curriculum where their creative abilities and I think their thinking abilities sort of really get challenged, and you can pose challenging problems to them, and working as a team, they can come up perhaps with solutions that either one of them wouldn't be able to get alone. So it really challenges your bright students and really motivates the weak ones. That's what I'd have to say about it.
Okay, Mr. Burnett, we'd like to thank you for speaking with us.
No, you're welcome, Dave.
Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review after this.
I can't believe I let this happen.
Get the message. Use the quarter.
Off the rack. On Friday, the grade 12 students will be having their graduation. This week as we scanned our tape racks, we came across a video of this year's grad class in a concert at A.J. Matthews School when they were in grade 3. Christmas, 1986.
Next, our grade 3s are going to do the story of Christmas.
Come hear a Christmas story of wondrous glory and light. A baby splendid glory was born on Christmas night. His cradle was a manger, nice full of hay. The staple caught in danger, the yellow Christmas day. All the still good weather, the still so heavy, as peaceful as my mother's face when she sings to me. As silent as my pussy cat, as quiet as the snow, as silent as the deep dark wood where elves and fairies go. All still in Bethlehem, I look up at the sky. I think I see a shine, but I hear a baby cry. A baby was born in Bethlehem, but what a strange thing. He's born into the stable of the baby Christmas King. I wonder why he has no house in which to lay his head. If he were to come to my house, I'd give him my bed. The shepherds came to Bethlehem, the stars glowed in the way. Could they leave the sheep alone? I guess we shepherd had to stay. The shepherds bring a new lamb, a gift for Christ to come. I'd rather have a dog than and all lambs are fun. Oh, Jesus left his shepherds and farmers everywhere. He tended the lambs and gave them junk cat. The wise men came to Bethlehem. What rich and lovely gowns. But by the straw of Jesus' crib, they stopped and kneeled down. Smoke with mystic golden things, and perfumes, splendid fragrance, gifts of blood, heralds and gifts of Jesus, child my king. Dear boy, on Christmas Savior Jesus, I want to do my part. So to the lowly manger, I come to give my heart. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. Grand young virgins, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight. Glory streams from heaven upright. Heavenly hosts sing hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born.
BBS Playbill. Tune in on Monday at 7:30 p.m. for Without Fear, a video about violence against women. This video comes to us from the Help Committee. Tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for a rebroadcast of Up the Shack featuring the Genesis Gospel Singers. This will be followed at 8 p.m. by BBS West Viking College Educational Television. Try your luck on Wednesday at 7 p.m. by playing LOBA TV Bingo. For this week only, bingo will be followed at 8 p.m. by BBS West Viking College Educational Television. And be sure and join Pansy and the gang for a fun-filled morning on Pansy's Garden, Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Next week's program will be followed by the season finale of The Bandwagon. Please stay tuned now for Up the Shack featuring the Genesis Gospel Singers from our friends at Ramia Broadcasting. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.